All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is April 11th on a Thursday, 2024. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. Stocks are up this morning. I went ahead, I forgot to put the banner up for our Discord server. Make sure to get access. All the news you need to start your day is right here and throughout the trading day is on the free GAR live market blog on our website, www.gar.capital, and you'll have free access. Make sure to join up. All right, so big news that came out today was the PPI number. This is the Producer Price Index, kind of the business equivalent of the CPI. PPI came in 2.1% year over year. The forecast was more, this was actually less than expected. So again, stocks did bounce. Traders keep bets on first rate cut in September, see slightly higher chance of July after data. So PPI came in softer than expected. That's some pretty good news. The March core PPI inflation rose 2.4%. The estimate was 2.3. This is on an annualized basis. So again, the news was quite positive, at least since after PPI, everyone was thinking that we were going to tank because that was hotter than expected. And there's a couple of key levels to watch. And very, very conveniently start bouncing at those levels. I talked about this yesterday, that yesterday looked like a bear trap, meaning this is where people would want to short and they were going to get bounced on. The 50-day moving average, right there is where we bounced, right on PPI. That's not a coincidence. That's a very, very key technical level. Your next target is 18,363. If we get above that, that's the 20-day moving average. You're going to retrace the move that we just had. Which is right here, 471 to around 408, around this zone here. That's just a retrace of the level. So I fully expect us to bounce to get to around 386. We'll probably pull back and chop a little bit. Lower volume today and this week. Why? The Masters begin this week. I said that to the team. I know it sounds rather silly, but people watch golf, especially while working. It's just the reality. I was in white collar jobs for many years, and everything stopped for two things. March Madness, college basketball, everyone got their brackets. I forget. The World Cup, that was big. But the Masters is every year, guys. Come on. Everyone wants to watch Tiger, right? So getting a little bit of a bounce here. You can see on future side, Dow is down about 3 points. The Nasdaq's up about a quarter point. S&P up about 0.06. The Russell bounced back very nicely, 2049. That's where we are this morning. Crude oil's pulling back 0.75%, still in a golden cross. I still expect higher. Gasoline futures down about 0.10. Gold futures up 0.41%. Silver's up. I do have some silver exposure. They're up 0.26%. With the dollar pulling back slightly, we need to get below 105, stock traders, if we want higher stocks. This needs to come down. Okay, the reason that went up so sharply was of CPI. And the high CPI really brought the fear that we may not get a rate cut this year. Well, President Joe Biden actually threw water on that because he even stated yesterday, which he never talks about the Fed, he stated that we will get rate cuts. I don't know if he threw an S in there, cut or cuts, by the end of this year. So that's already priced in, guys. Rate cuts are happening. We don't know how many and when. So all we're navigating today and tomorrow and future videos is really timing when that is so we could take advantage. That's what it's really all about. Copper pulling back. We took that Freeport McMoran trade anyways, but that's down about a quarter point, 427. Euro dollar, 107.31. Dollar yen finally came back up post CPI. Awesome work. Forex traders, they locked in about 80 pips. We got as high as 153.28. TP1 was 153. We got in at 151.92 or so. So that was an excellent job, dollar yen traders. You could see here on Forex. And this was a while. I sent this back on the 26th of March. 151.93 was the entry. 153 was our TP. We pulled back pretty ugly. It was very ugly, but I said to everybody, we just have to keep holding on. We know where we're going. And then we finally broke the level. That was on April 3rd. And then we started finally pushing. Again, post CPI, we got it above 23. We locked in some gains, got it to plus 100. But again, it stopped out for 80 points, 80 pips. So excellent work. I personally don't have Forex trading on the broker. But again, I do want to help my Forex guys. So again, I don't have a screenshot, but I was tracking it for y'all. But I'm glad everyone made some money. Congratulations to the team. Let's go ahead and keep it going. Bitcoin. Now, this is something I want everyone to watch. Mind you, the dollar is at 105.14, and yet Bitcoin's green. Something is happening. Now, again, I'm not Mr. I have a feeling. This is what the chart's telling me in macro. We're going to get above 74,415. We're going to break all-time highs. When is the question? Yes, I have BITO trade. Once we break 74,415, weak enter for crypto. We know this. Then we should get to around, well, we got to find an extension or how high we can go. Let's see. What's our next Fibonacci extension? 110? I don't think we get there rather soon, but I think 80,000 is definitely in focus. So Bitcoin needs to be on the radar once we break. But again, break 73K first. Remember, we rejected that on the 7th. And then 74,415 on the future side being the highs. I fully expect that to break very soon, especially as we get close to two things. One, the Bitcoin halving, that's coming. And then, of course, the dollar pulling back. Let's get below 105, guys. That's what we want. That's what we want. Let's answer some questions. Good morning. Good morning. Amazon CEO said they found ways to cut costs on their fulfillment side of the business. Huge sweep orders to 250K came near April 12th expiry. Let's take a look at Amazon. Yeah, it was the CEO kind of their press conference. Again, the PPI number does help. I've said it before and I'll say it again to those who are holding Amazon. 188.65 is the target. So that's coming. The question is, does it break? The question is, are they going to really talk about, are they going to use artificial intelligence to cut costs? That's really why businesses want AI, is for efficiency and to lower labor costs. That's the most expensive line item usually when it comes to running a business, is the salaries and the workers. You got to pay them. So with that being said, I like Amazon long term. Been saying that. I think we break above one. We'll hit 188.65. We may just chop a little bit due to this volume that we have. Yes, I know the Masters tournament and tomorrow the market is open as well. But we're running out of real key catalysts. We don't have a lot of economic data next week. That might be a good thing. And we have earnings starting. So maybe Amazon does get us a break above, but I didn't see anything in regards to flows. Once you break 188.65, we can take a look at higher, but though the IV will be a little higher and those call options will be a little more expensive. So the goal is to get to 180.65. If you're holding calls, personally, I want it to soar, of course, but more than likely we'll probably just chop around 188 to 190 and then pull back. It's a very wonky one, and it's a name that I've traded many times, and it's just one of those kind of slow grinders, kind of like Google was on that last trade where we were just pulling our hair out because we were waiting for so long. But eventually we got it. Thoughts on S stock long term? This is, I don't know what S is. S is Cento One Incorporated. I've never heard of this name. Back when I was younger, S used to be Sprint. I don't know if anyone remembers Sprint. That was the wireless service. Now we just have AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. But Sprint, and then they merged with Nextel. That's I'm like, Sprint, is that they're still around? If you're trading S at home, above 30 is a breakout above this double top. If you're looking at it this way, it looks like a massive inverse head and shoulders. It looks like it wants to go higher. The question is, how high can we go? Get above 25.52 on the weekly, then you can have that conversation. You need to stay above 20. That's really it. 20 would be your last gasp. Near close yesterday. How do you see coin play out if Bitcoin breaks to all-time highs? The problem with Coinbase is that the executives are selling shares. That does not affect Bitcoin, but it affects Coinbase. I think you stick with Bitcoin, strict Bitcoin proxy, meaning a Bitcoin ETF, if you're trading Bitcoin. The only reason I say that is because you have names like Mara and MSTR and Coinbase and Riot, these miners, and also the brokers. The executives could dilute you by offering more shares. There's a analyst that could cut guidance or cut price targets, sell side, and then you have executives selling. For that, just own BITO, the ETF. Again, there is no dividend, there's no executives, there's no dilution of shares. It's just tracking Bitcoin. Boring. Well, not really, but good. That's what I want. If I like Coinbase, the company itself, then I'll just trade Coinbase itself. But the days of us trading Marathon or Riot or any of those, or Coinbase just to trade Bitcoin, those days are over. We don't need to do that anymore. We have a Bitcoin ETF. Now we're just waiting for an Ethereum ETF, and then we can really have some fun. Probably a bit niche, but ever heard of HITI? It's in the cannabis market. Not sure what you think of the market overall. Well, everyone knows how I feel about cannabis stocks. I do expect us, with full legalization, that's going to take a while, to go higher. No pun intended. So let's take a look at HITI. I also put CGC as part of our watch list. The problem with HITI is that it's a penny stock. You got one of those, companies where, concentration of shares are the executives and certain other people. They sell, you're nuked. So yeah, when it comes to penny stocks, just stay away. It's just pain. It's what we call, or I call, just straight up donation. That's what you're doing. It's like betting on a football team that has no chance of winning. My Dallas Cowboys. Yes, that's fine. You can make fun of my team. They deserve it. But HITI, just based on technical analysis, again, I do not like penny stocks. This is pain written all over it. Above $2.88, maybe. I don't know if CGC is back in. Okay, they're not in penny stock land. Thank God. Okay, CGC. I think with their Constellation investment, Constellation just had a great quarter, mind you. Corona drinkers unite. 11.59 is the break point. If we can get above that, we're taking a look at calls up to 20 strike. But that's all very, very contingent on election day in November. Florida has a ballot initiative of legalizing cannabis. That needs to pass if we want names like this to soar. So I'm going to have to do a podcast on the election and what's important and how we're going to make money off it. We did one 4 years ago. As we get closer to election season, I'll make a podcast on that or a video, and I'll give my prediction if you want. I'll talk about politics if you want. Again, try to keep it just about business and how you can make money off it. Your personal feelings or what I think about things is irrelevant. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. How you vote is how you vote. I'm not here to sway you. I'm here to show you how we can make money off either way. So that podcast will be coming, or video, depending on what you guys want to see. Let's see. Intel. I just got into puts. Let's see. It's bouncing today. It's up about 20 cents. All right, let's take a look at the daily. You can see this trend line break out, pulled back. Remember, we traded Intel many times this past 12 months. Got the gap fill. That was filled. So let me go ahead and clear that out. That was something that we were watching for a while, and we finally filled it. But again, this channel breakdown, there is a gap to fill at 42.53. I guess that would be something to be careful for, but we would not get there. 39.69 is a gap to fill here on the daily as well, but we're below the 200-day. When you're below the 200-day, good things don't tend to happen. So again, a break of 37. We're taking a look at 35, possibly to 32. 32.41 being my major support. I think if you get there, you may take a little bit of a bite on a reversal, maybe buy the stock to swing, but we're just not there yet. So that's the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly. You broke the 50-week moving average. 35 is your next target right there. If that does break that last daily support I talked about, that's definitely coming, 32.50. Because after that support on the weekly, you really ain't got no more support there. And you already broke down. So I think Intel is coming out very weak. NVIDIA held up well yesterday. We'll see if AMD holds up that support. So far, so good on the weekly. It's at 168. It's right at the 20-week moving average. It just retested that support. I kind of like AMD here for a long. Not quite yet, but I'm watching it very closely. Let's see. One more question here. You're welcome. That was a thank you by one of our members or viewers, DraftKings. Now, since this here, we were up 28% on our calls. We had the 50 calls. Pulled back. All we've been trying to do is get back up there and retrace. So chop, chop, chop. Nice push, pulls back. Nice push, pulls back. We're running out of time. Obviously, we had about a week left. See this dotted trend line here? So far, that's been holding up. But really the key level for me is really the 20-day. The 20-day, we got to stay above that, and we got to see if we get to 50. We had a PPI number that was good, but we need small caps to move a little higher, since DraftKings kind of falls in that perspective. As the Masters is today, maybe DraftKings comes out with some headlines saying a lot of betting in the golf tournament. Who knows? That comes out on Monday. We'll see if they announce anything like that. But fingers crossed. We'll see what we get. SOUN. Sound. Never heard of that. Another penny stock. So again, very, very careful on that. We know that means pain. There's a gap to fill here at $2.42. And you just broke the 50-day moving average. And you just broke below this two double top here. So it looks like more downside, even though it's up today. There is a slight gap to fill at $4.77. But again, 242, that looms large. More than likely, that's going to go ahead and fill. So that's where we are this morning. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. I will catch you guys tomorrow for the next morning note. Got to go ahead and get started for our server members and prepare them for the day ahead. Have a great rest of your morning. I will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers all.